Just a moment, the leading presidential candidate for the Republicans, Donald J. Trump, will be with us for the full hour. By the way, unlike fake news CNN, it's not my job to sit here and debate the candidate. We're going to ask him about the issues of the day that actually matter to the people that came out here tonight in the rain and thunder and lightning, the voters, and they will also have their questions as well. Nothing is off the table. And as of now, Trump is not only beating his Republican rivals, but he's also beating President Biden. Real Clear Politics average.
Nothing's off the table except the second
matchup there. In the most recent Harvard-Harris poll has him up by 7 points over Joe Biden. And the vast majority of Americans, in the most recent Harvard-Harris Biden. I don't think many Americans are happy with Joe Biden, to say the least. And based on recent polls, voters believe that Biden is corrupt, incompetent, creepy, both mentally, physically, cognitively unfit to serve. By the way, today was no exception. At the Air Force Academy, Biden could not remember the word pilot or fighter pilot. Take a look.
By the way, I met with those guys that fly over shortly. You heard of them, haven't you? 3 of them are women.
Oh. What the fuck?
So don't screw around, guys.
Oh my God.
All right, got much worse from there. And by the way, viewer warning, this is kind of hard to watch, but following those remarks, well, Biden fell flat on his face and took another tumble and fall. Take a look.
Even the mic picked it up. Yeah, it was a hard.
It was a nice thud. It was a nice thud.
Pretty solid. Sandbag and son of a bitch. Yeah.
The orange sandbag, damn it.
Wing, 10 shot. Mr. President, thank you for joining us today.
I'm falling on your
Now,
face.
we all hope the president is okay, but there needs to be a serious discussion in this country about his physical fitness, his mental acumen, his ability to serve. The presidency is the toughest job on earth. It requires, well, a tough, capable leader. And you might recall 2024, and we talked about this in past election years, the American people, they will now have a critical opportunity to right the ship that begins right here in the great state of Iowa. Let's give a warm Iowa welcome. Joining us now for the hour, the 45th president of the United States, current GOP presidential candidate, frontrunner Donald Trump.
That's a nice deal. Nice deal. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow.
It's the kind of ovation
By the way, they all
Biden
came out.
doesn't get.
It was raining cats and dogs today.
It was a little nasty out, but it's Iowa. It's a beautiful place. When it rains, it's beautiful. We've really been loved in Iowa, and I love Iowa. We won both times by a lot.
Yeah.
So we're very happy.
You're up in the polls here. I want to start with the current president. Did you see the video of when he fell? And did you see the video? He actually said, by the way, I met with, who are those guys that are going to fly over shortly? Yeah. Yeah, that's your president right now.
Not too good. It's sad. It's sad. It's not, they're representing, we are all representing the country. You become president, and you're sort of not allowed to do that, but it's happened. It's happened, and it's happened pretty badly. We won't go into it, but we all know the ones, and they count those acts, they never forget. But that was a bad fall.
I remember remember the media made so much I think you were at West Point at the time.
Yeah.
And you were coming down a ramp.
Yeah.
It didn't have a rail. You had dress shoes on like you have now,
Yeah.
which have very slippery soles.
They look a little better, but you better not walk in rain. That's true.
Especially downhill on a ramp.
You know, it was very interesting. I think I made my best speech. That was my best speech. And I was so proud of it. It was pouring. And I said, this speech was so good. And then I said, how do I get down? Sir, you have to go down the ramp. I said, the same one I came up, it was a long, like an ice skating rink. And they said, yes, sir. And I had the general next to me, the commandant of cadets, nice guy, big guy, strong guy. I said, General, and he's wearing combat boots. They don't slip too much. I said, General, get ready, because I may have to grab you here. But I said, I'm not falling. There's no way. So I'd go tippy-toe down the thing. That was a mistake, because it didn't look so good. I even agree it was. But I got killed, and they never covered that speech. I said, it was my best. Someday they'll, in 100 years, they're going to put that speech on. I really, but you can't fall. You just can't fall, no matter what. Just can't allow it to happen. And I better not allow, especially after saying this, I better not allow it to happen with me. But things like that do happen.
So in past interviews that we've had together, and we've had many over the years,
Yeah.
I have asked you repeatedly about what you think about Joe Biden's cognitive state. I've asked you about, is he up to the job physically, mentally? You have been very reluctant to go there. I'm not reluctant. To me, does everyone agree with me that this guy's cognitively not there? I doubt he knows what day of the week it is today. That's how bad I think it's gotten for him. Why are you reluctant to call that out?
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. I actually called Sean, and I asked Sean not to joke about it.
I was joking.
Because he used to joke about it. And I said, honestly, I don't think it looks good for you or for anybody for you to joke about it, because it's a serious problem.
I was talking about sippy cup and warm milky at night and bedtime stories. Yeah.
So I said, I just don't think it's good for anybody. And, you know, it's not appropriate. You can speak about it if you want, but I don't think you should joke about it. And you really didn't after that.
Well, now I realize how serious it is. I mean, especially, and we'll get into foreign policy, and, you know, with China, Russia, and Iran forming, I'm calling it a new axis of evil.
Yeah.
I'm very, very concerned that he's abdicated our role on the world stage. Let me start.
I do say this. I think it's the most serious time and the most dangerous time right now in the history of our country. We have nuclear weapons on lots of different areas. We have Russia, we have North Korea, we have Iran is going to soon have one. That should have never happened. I had that set up. We would have made that deal within a week after the election, and they would have never had a nuclear weapon. But nobody picked it up because I terminated the Iran nuclear deal. But this is the most dangerous time in the history of our country because of the power of the weaponry. And we have somebody that doesn't understand what's happening. And it's a very dangerous thing. It's a very bad thing. I mean, some really bad things. If you would see, and I got to see it, if you would see the power of what we're talking about, this isn't army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. This is something that's a whole different place. This is annihilation of the world, literally. The power is so horrible. And I was actually working on something with Putin where we start getting rid of nuclear weapons. It's just too powerful. And, you know, all of a sudden people are talking about nuclear weapons all the time. I wouldn't let people talk about it. I had somebody come down from MIT. I was talking about that. My uncle was a great professor for many years at MIT. And I had somebody come down and I said, what would you say, like, during the debate about nuclear weapons? He looked at me and said, sir, don't talk about them. I said, why? He said, there's nothing you can say. It's so powerful. It's so extraordinary. The best thing you can do is not talk about them. Now they're talking about them all the time. That's all they talk about. In fact, I guess Putin announced the other day he's moving nuclear weapons to Belarus. So this is a very dangerous time for our country, but it's a very dangerous time for the whole world.
You end your rally speeches now with music in the background, and you start with, "We are a nation in decline." And this is a very different America than what it was when you left it as president 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can point to the border. I can look at laws all over the country, defund, dismantle, no bail laws. We've given up energy independence. We're importing oil from Venezuela and OPEC. And right, who would have believed that? And we now see 2/3 of our country are living paycheck to paycheck. You see some people now cashing in their retirement just so they can make ends meet. Others are putting, bare necessities on credit cards. I'll mention this in Iowa because I have, a radio show with 720 stations. Farmers call me. The cost of fertilizer is 3 times what it used to be. The cost of seed is twice what it used to be. And if you can get the parts to repair your equipment, it's 4 times what it used to be. I've never seen it this bad or this decline this precipitously.
So we were energy independent. Think of it, 3 years ago. And what people don't know is that we have, I call it liquid gold because it's gold. It's better than gold. We have liquid gold under our feet more than any other nation, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We're energy independent. Within 6 months, we would have been energy dominant. And we were going to sell energy to Europe and lots of other places. And we were going to make so much money doing it because it's such a big world. It's such a big business. It's all encompassing. And that's what started the inflation. I mean, the energy, we stopped drilling and all of a sudden gasoline's going up to $5, $6 a gallon in a car, and just horrible things were happening. And it happened, but we were going to pay off debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. We gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than the Ronald Reagan tax cut. And the biggest, I think more importantly, Sean, we gave you the biggest regulation cuts. That's why we had more jobs than we ever had before. We've never had anything close. And we did all of that. And then to end that, but we were going to pay off debt. We were going to get the debt because the money is so big. It's so massive. You look at Saudi Arabia, the money they have, no nation's ever had anything like it. And we have more than they have. We were going to pay off debt. We were going to get the energy prices down. We're going to get interest rates down. It was like we had something going that, and within 6 months, we would have been dominant because we would have taken over Europe. We would have literally been supplying the energy to Europe. And we would have made a fortune. We would have paid down the debt. We would have cut the taxes. It was going to be so beautiful.
Let me focus on the issues that I think bread and butter issues that impact everybody. I want to know if you get elected president, how fast you're going to be able to fix our borders, bring us back to energy independence, how quickly you might be able to work to change the school system, bring back law and order and safety and security to this country and every town and every city, because I think people need that if they want to pursue happiness. How quickly can you shift gears and move this country?
I think very quickly. Let me just say, so I heard DeSantis saying, oh, well, I get 8 years, he gets 4. You don't need 4 and you don't need 8. You need 6 months. Within 6 months, I said, within 6 months, this can be done. Other than, you don't need 8 years. And frankly, I wouldn't vote for him because he said, you need 8 years. You need 6 months. We're going to drill. We're going to get our energy down. When the energy comes down, other things come down. And we're going to take care of things. We're going to immediately close up the border. We had the greatest border. We had the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. There's no, and I say this during rallies. We love our rallies, but I say it there's never been a third world country that allowed people to pour into a country. They'd stand there with sticks and stones if they had to. What's happening to our country? But in terms of doing it, you don't need 8 years and you don't need 4 years. We can have a lot of it done because these guys are amazing. The oil guys, they will be. In fact, I had it so low that we had to raise it or they would have all been out of business. We had so much oil, we didn't know what to do with it. We bought a lot of it for very little for the Strategic National Reserve that he then took to keep the prices down before an election. We had the Strategic National Reserves almost full. And then Biden came along and took it to keep prices down. It's called artificially down. And the thing is almost empty now. And that's meant for times of war. It's not meant to keep a price down for an automobile. It's meant for war, for real problems. And we had it 75 million barrels. And I bought it for peanuts. And Congress, I had to fight Congress. And the pricing was so crazy and so good. And we needed a place because we had so much. So we start filling up. This guy comes along and he takes it for automobiles, for people so they, before the election, so the price could keep down. Now it's totally empty. It's the emptiest I think it's been in 50 years.
Down 48%.
And it's so sad. And by the way, the price is still very high.
I don't think gas went over $3 a gallon, if I'm not mistaken, when you were president as an average.
We had it down to $1.87. We actually had a little period of time where we had it lower than that. So, but the energy companies, the oil companies weren't going to last. I had said, wait a minute, I love it in one way, but in another way, they're all going to go bust. We got to get it up a little bit. But we had it down to $1.87. But we had a period of time where it was much lower than that. It was too low, actually.
So we have.
That's a good problem, by the way. That's a much better problem than it's at $6 and $7 and $8 and $9.
All right, so we have this new, I call it a new axis of evil.
Yeah.
You have China aligned with Russia, aligned with Iran. Let's start with, here you have a Chinese spy balloon. There are no consequences. Here you have, just this week, a Chinese simulator that takes out all of our warships in the Pacific and the China Sea.
Very sophisticated.
You have a confrontation with a fighter jet of China with our fighter jet. They come, within 400 feet or whatever it was. Joe Biden's defense secretary wants to meet with their defense secretary, and they basically give Joe Biden the middle finger and say no. And you see that there's a growing Cold War with China, who's aligned with two other hostile regimes. And I got to believe that's not a good situation for America right now, because, Putin seems to have no qualms about taking down a drone out of the sky. No consequences for him, no consequences for China. What would you do?
So we had a great thing with China until COVID came in. Then I didn't even want to deal with them. But I had a great relationship with President Xi. But I was charging them tariffs. And if I didn't do, because they were dumping steel like nobody's ever seen anything like it before, destroying our steel mills and our steel plants. And I put on a 50% tariff. And all of a sudden, our steel industry was doing good. I did it for washing machines. I did it for dryers. I did it for a lot of things because they were destroying a lot of our businesses. But we were taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. And we're in Iowa. I gave the farmers $28 billion. You know that, $28 billion. And in one of my moments, I said, there's no way I lose Iowa. I gave the farmers $28 billion from China. I took $28 billion. I asked Sonny Perdue, who was the Secretary of Agriculture, and a very good guy, said, Sonny, how badly have our farmers been hurt by what China was doing? They were killing our farmers, right? Just killing them. He said, about $28 billion. I said, that's okay. And I had $28 billion worth of checks written out to all of the farmers of our country. And I said, there's no way I'm going to lose this state. And there's no way I'm losing Nebraska and some other ones. But I've had more people thanking me for that. But think of it. I took $28 billion from China and gave it to our farmers. Nobody else would do that. Nobody else.
Vladimir Putin, you have said repeatedly in interviews that if you were president, he never would have went into Ukraine. How do you say that? And then you also have said that if you're president, you can end this very quickly.
Yeah, I'd say if I'm president, and by the way, this is a much worse position than before it started. Before it started, it was easy. He wasn't going to do it. And I had conversations. And it was always the apple of his eye. I mean, I could see that. But I said, you're not going to do it. And if you do it, we're going to have problems like you've never had before. He understood. I said things. He said, you don't mean that. I said, I mean it 100%. And he didn't totally believe me, but he believed me 10%, and that's all he had to do. He knew that there was going to be a problem. And President Xi said,
you're implying something here. You basically said, I'd obliterate you. Is that what you said?
I said things that were very bad, very nasty. And
kind of like what?
And honestly, I got a hold, and he said, you don't mean that. It had to do with Moscow. He said, you don't mean that. I said, I do. I'll never talk about it again, but I do. He said, you don't mean it. You don't mean it. And we then went on to other subjects. But I don't think he believed me, but he believed me 10%. That's all he had to believe me. 5% would be good enough. But I had the same conversation with President Xi about Taiwan, President Xi of China. I said, President, don't do it with Taiwan. Don't even think about doing it with Taiwan. He was never going to do it. And now he's circling, ships are circling, planes are flying over the top. 28 bombers last week went right over the middle of it. A lot of stuff going on. And a lot of this has to do also with the fact that we were so incompetent in the way we left Afghanistan. It was so, I think it was the most It was the most embarrassing and most incompetent moment in the history of our country. And I think both of them looked at that and they said, wow, this is not the same country that we know. We rebuilt our military. I rebuilt the military, new jets, new everything. We had everything. And they gave away $85 billion worth of the best equipment in the world. Nobody can even believe it. The biggest, I mean, they're the biggest seller of equipment. They're the biggest right after us. Afghanistan. Can you imagine? Afghanistan is one of the biggest arms merchants in the world because they don't need 700,000 guns and rifles, 70,000 armor-plated trucks and different things, but millions of dollars for some of them. 700,000 arms. Think of it, rifles. 70,000 trucks. There's not a used car lot in all of Iowa or in all of the country probably that has more than 500. These people had 70,000, and some of these are, a big, heavy armor-plated stuff for the roadside bombs. Soleimani, Soleimani was not good. That situation was taken care of.
That's just
and
what they kept track
al-Baghdadi was
of.
not good, and that situation was taken care of. But we did a lot.
Exactly, Tom.
Our military is great. A lot of things going on with our military, with the woke and all this nonsense. They're not learning to fight and protect us from some very bad people. They want to go woke. That's all they talk about now. I see letters that are being sent. It's horrible. I mean, it's really a serious problem. That would end immediately. But when you look at what we did, we rebuilt our military. We added Space Force. Everyone said, oh, Space Force, what is that all about? When they came in, Biden wanted to end it. He said, what is this, a game? It's going to turn out to be one of the most important. It hasn't happened since Air Force 78 years ago. And it's unbelievable now. China and Russia were taking over space, and now we're leading in space because of Space Force. It's a very important move.
We got to take a break. More with former President Donald Trump. We'll ask him about the growing GOP field, the weaponization of our justice system, and so much more. We are in beautiful Clive, Iowa, outside of Des Moines. Thank you for being with us for Town Hall and questions from the audience. Straight ahead.
We know patients are more than.
All right, guys. So what do you think so far? I knew you pulled out my camera, buddy. I got to fix my camera, guys. 1 second. Take the wheel. Hold on.
I think he's doing a good job so far. I mean, it's all the stuff we've been hearing and that we already know, But again, how long has it been since this message has truly gotten out to the vast majority of the population? I mean, he's been censored on every platform. I think the CNN one was the first time in a long time that he'd been allowed to actually speak on network television. So, take that for what you will. It's like the same old stuff to us, but a lot of people, it's stuff they need to hear. I hope we get to hear some of his new plans. I'd like to hear more from the audience, which I think we're about to get there. And I'd like Hannity to shut the hell up.
I'll echo
Agree.
that, Tom. Thank you,
Good to
Tom.
see you, Sean.
Or Gage, thank you. I appreciate that.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, what up, Sean?
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah,
It's pretty much toast right now. Somebody else go.
No, I got you. I was going to say it.
Go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, dude. I mean, I didn't go into this expecting a whole lot out of Hannity. He hasn't interrupted him too badly yet, but I do foresee that coming. He'll probably start asking some tougher questions. I'd say like midway through it, and he'll cut Trump off, and we'll probably get fairly more annoyed. Thankfully, I think I'm prepared for that. So he's making good points, though. I mean, he's pointing out the right things. He really doesn't have to overdo this because he's so far up in the polls. He just needs to stick to his points. So
exactly.
And this is a lot. I mean, this is a good tone after, going into a CNN town hall that was kind of, let's just face it, it was a brawl. And now he can just kind of come out and knock down his points. So we'll see how it goes.
What did you guys think about Trump taking the high road on Joe Biden? Is that what you expected?
Right thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
That is literally the perfect thing to do for all those people who were saying, I want my president to be more presidential.
Right? Yes. Yes. It takes away that narrative. That's exactly what I was thinking, Tom, because they want that. I mean, we kind of do in a way too, but right now at this point in the game, we kind of need that a little bit. We want that trolling Trump, but at the same time, we want that respectable Trump. Once it's just him versus the Dems, then it's gloves off, right? I think that's when the gloves come off.
Yep. When it's him versus when it's him versus his own party, his gloves off. But until then, be respectful. He knows how to do this.
Yeah, the primary is going to be tougher than the actual election at this rate.
Yes, it 100% is. I mean, you guys are on Twitter. You're seeing the bullshit that's going back and forth, right? You're seeing the DeSantis influencers mocking Trump at every single turn when he was just taking pictures inside of a radio station. And their narrative today was Trump can't fill up rallies, so he's got to go to these smaller venues. That's what I was seeing a lot of today. And I find that funny because Trump announced, I think it was a month, 2 months ago, that the rallies are coming back. People don't realize we have almost a year and 4 months, 5 months till an actual election. There's some time between here. The man is going to be doing rallies. And when those rallies come, he's also making endorsements. That's all going to be coming. It's all going to be rounded up. Right now, I think this is kind of his soft introduction back into the mainstream. He's still on Truth Social. He's barely on Facebook. He's barely on Instagram. It's only a matter of time before he's back on Twitter. I think this is his soft entry back into the mainstream. I mean, not that he's not mainstream, but with him getting indicted in New York, I think you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, you're missing a huge point here too. There are times for the massive stadium tours, and then there are times for the smaller venues. I mean, you were in a band. Think about it this way. You remember MTV Unplugged?
Yeah. Yep.
Like the small room sessions, more intimate. You actually get involved with the crowd versus the giant stadium festivals.
Yeah.
This is that. There's a time and place for each of it.
And he's going to be getting the questions from the audience now. He's going to have that connection. Correct. He doesn't do that at the rallies, right? Rallies are just the people that are around him.
For the normies.
Yes. That's what that's for. And now he's going to be taking hopefully some real honest questions. Not that the one at CNN wasn't, but you're not going to have to deal with, the clown from CNN interjecting yourself at every single point. So it's interesting. I think Hannity tried to, the thing is Hannity tried to interrupt, but with an alpha like Trump, it ain't going to work. But it looks like it's going back here. So let's go right back to it.
All right, we are back with Donald J. Trump. We're outside of beautiful Des Moines, Iowa for the hour. We will be taking questions from the audience. And tonight, as the 2024 race heats up, President Trump and other Republican candidates are now crisscrossing the state. And of course, the former president has a commanding lead in both Iowa and nationally. The GOP field, though, is growing. Last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis threw his hat in the ring, and soon we expect that former Vice President Mike Pence will be in. Anti-Trump zealot Chris Christie will join in. But can anyone close the gap? Let's talk about I guess we're up to 9 people after next week.
That's a good thing, isn't it? I think pretty good. But I don't think it matters. I don't know why people are doing it. They're at 1%. Some are at 0. I hear Chris Christie's coming in. He's at... He was at 6% in New Jersey, which is, I love New Jersey, but 6% approval rating in New Jersey. What's the purpose? And he's polling at 0. And others are, I call him Ada Hutchinson. I don't call him Asa. I call him Ada Hutchinson. I gave him a little name for some reason, for certain reasons. But this guy, nobody knows who the hell he is. Never good. And it's fine, but I don't understand what they're doing. Now, maybe there's something wrong, but when you're at 1% or less, 1%, it says 1% with an arrow pointing left. There's one guy who's at 0 with an arrow pointing left. That means he's at less than 0. So it is what it is. I really go after the one who's second. And I think the one who's second is going down so much and so rapidly that I don't think he's going to be second that much longer. I think he's going to be third or fourth. He had a very bad day today. He got very angry at the press.
Oh, boy.
You're not allowed to get angry at the press.
Let me.
At the fake news, he got angry.
probably became in history the most investigated president of all time.
Times 10.
Okay. So,
but if my poll numbers went down, it would all end. No, every time my poll goes up, I say, oh, this is a problem. But we had a poll today that showed I was 44 points above number 2 and beating Biden by 11 points. Beating Biden by 11 points and beating Biden by 15 and 16 points in some of them. And he's not doing well against Biden.
Let me ask you, because
we can't take a chance of this election.
I think a lot of people agree with that. I don't think things have been as bad, turned so badly so quickly. The third issue is there's a special counsel that's appointed, and news broke yesterday that there might be a tape recording that, quote, where you acknowledge that you understood that these were classified documents. First of all, do you know who this call may be with? Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about it. All I know is this. Everything I did was right. We have the Presidential Records Act, which I abided by 100%. Biden has 1,850 boxes with a lot of classified stuff that he's not supposed to have. In his case, I have the right to declassify as president. He's got 1,850 boxes that he doesn't want anyone to see. He had 7 or 8 boxes in Chinatown in Washington, D.C., where nobody even speaks English in Chinatown. Chinatown is it's in favor of China. And he has boxes in Chinatown. They took those boxes and they sent them to Boston to his lawyer, so his lawyer could look through them and probably do things that you're not supposed to do. No, this is about election interference. And in fact, I have to tell you, Dershowitz and a couple of very good guys wrote an article today. The Tobacco King, you know who the Tobacco King, he did a great job on the tobacco companies. They wrote an article today that this is a disgrace that they're even looking at this stuff. There was nothing done wrong, nothing whatsoever. Now look at the boxes with Biden, where they're in his garage. They're all over the floor. They're sitting under his Corvette with the grease and everything else on a garage door that you could cut with a scissor, and no Secret Service. I have Secret Service all over the place. Mar-a-Lago is a fort. It's literally, she built that as the Southern White House. But when you look at it, and it's another... it's a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. It's a hoax. And it has to do more than anything else with trying to interfere with the election. And let me tell you, DOJ actually you talk about Bragg, the DA of New York. Never thought I'd be dealing with a guy like this. You talk about Bragg. The DOJ in Washington put his top guy into the DA's office, which is local, which is city, state. But they put the top guy in the Justice Department into that office to make sure Trump gets in trouble. Can you believe it? It's never, ever happened before. And then Hillary Clinton's lawyer from, I guess it's Paul Weiss, left Paul Weiss to work in the prosecutor's office because he hates Trump and he wants to get Trump. And then nobody wanted to do anything because they say, Trump didn't do anything wrong, including Bragg originally said Trump didn't do anything wrong. And then he prosecutes me for what he said was not wrong. But they took this guy, and they put him in there, and he left the firm and he went in. It's a big, Pomerantz, Mark Pomerantz, and he left to become a prosecutor. He was a Democrat lawyer, and now he's trying to prosecute me. And then what happened is they wouldn't do what he wanted to do because it was too bad even for them. So this guy left and he writes a book during the process. They tell me what he did is criminal. They tell me. Now let's see what happens. But he's in a lot of trouble. So here's a prosecutor left and he wrote a book during the prosecution. But I've been going through this for 7 years. Russia, all of it. The Mueller report, which was no collusion. After 2.5 years, there was no collusion with Russia. I was the worst thing. Putin would say, they say you like me. He said, you are the worst guy that we've ever had to deal with. I'm the one that stopped the pipeline, the big pipeline going up to Germany. I stopped it. When Biden came in, it's called Nord Stream 2. When Nord Stream 2, nobody ever heard of it until I came along. I said, you're allowing Russia to build a pipeline through Europe? I stopped it. It was stopped dead. And then the election came about and Biden came in. One of the first things he did was allow Russia to complete the pipeline. I had it stopped. And then they say, I'll tell you what, they're a party of disinformation. they'll say Trump is soft on Russia. I'm the hardest on Russia that there's ever been. The sanctions we did, everything else. And I got along with Putin.
Let me follow up.
And by the way, the hardest on China by a factor. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And as I said, no other president ever took in 10 cents. And you know what? China respected us. And President Xi respected your president. And he didn't want to have any more tariffs. And he didn't want to have any more sanctions. But he respected us. And now he doesn't respect. They don't even return phone calls.
You know, abortion now is back as a real campaign issue. And then issues I didn't think when I started my radio career in 1987 I'd be talking a lot about, but education, kids, gender identity classes, CRT. I never thought we'd really have this deep debate about whether or not biological men could be playing in women's sports. When
so crazy.
On all of these issues, you know, what is the best way that you see to settle?
Well, I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. And by doing that, it put pro-lifers in a very strong negotiating position. Now they're negotiating different things. And, you know, I happen to be of the Ronald Reagan school in terms of exemptions where you have the life of the mother, rape, and incest,
mother's life.
So you have that. And I think, you know, for me, that's something that works very well. And for probably 80, 85%, because don't forget, we do have to win elections. But I did something that nobody could do. And I also made them the radicals because they are willing and able to kill babies in the 9th month. They're willing to kill babies. That's radical. Pro-life isn't radical. They've made pro-life radical, the other side. Pro-life is not radical. What's radical is killing a baby in the 8th month, the 7th month, the 9th month, or even the babies after the baby's born. And, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot of politicians, and you saw that in the midterms. I think it was a big factor that didn't really know how to talk about what we did with Roe v. Wade and what we did on pro-life. They didn't know how to talk about it. And it energized the Democrats, and they used that. I mean, they used that as a commercial. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, what should the
But especially when you didn't have the exceptions. When you didn't have the exceptions, they went after the people like viciously. The ads, and those people did not, generally speaking, they didn't do very well in terms of election. But when you have the exceptions and you go through the whole gamut, it's something that's an incredible thing. But one thing it really did, though, Sean, is it gave people that are pro-life a great power to negotiate. We had no power to negotiate because you had Roe v. Wade sitting in there where you could do anything, where the other side could do anything. They can't do that right now. So we're in a great position to negotiate something really, really good. And most people, I think, really respect what we did. Now, I will say every once in a while I watch somebody say, I did more for abortion and abortion rights and pro-life. I did more than Trump. Well, only stupid people would say that because everyone said there was no way that Roe v. Wade was going to disappear, but because it was very unfair. The other thing is people wanted to bring it back to the states. I consider that less important, but nevertheless, a lot of people want to bring it back. This brings it back to the states.
More with Donald Trump, and we'll hear from our Iowa audience as we continue from the great state of Iowa. Please stay with us.
She found it. Feeling a fine.
She found it.
She found it, boys. Actually, we don't know if it's a she these days, so don't be bigots, guys.
You don't want to know what you found.
Sean, I see you in the chat.
What's going on,
You're
folks?
yelling at someone to blink. I don't know who you're yelling
here.
at.
I don't even have my lights on. Hold on, let me take real quick.
That fucking cat, man. Holy shit.
Their language is just a little bit hot. So let me I'm here. What's going on, people? I know y'all haven't seen me in a while. I've been here. When I'm able to go live, I can. And I had to reset my computer. Check this out, people. I had to reset my computer 4 times. 4 times. Because I've been trying to wipe out whatever virus is in it or whatever's attached to my account. I had to erase it. So my goal is to go back live. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to, I have my work schedule that I have. This camera is not even balanced. Hold Hold on, y'all. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, now, all right. And okay, I'm not even using that camera. So, and anyway, yeah, when I go back live, I'll let you know. And there are some other reasons why I chose not to do more lives. Is because I know if you take the 40,000-foot view, you would know that, hold on, I knew that I was on target. I was, a lot of things that was happening, and I was on point, and I don't want to disrupt the plan. I didn't want to give you any views thinking, you know, there are people out there that's actually giving good information, and it's going to line up with what's going on right now. But I just didn't want to be that person, for one. Number two, I felt like my account was being shadow banned to the point to where it was affecting my family. And so I chose to take a dive and back out from the YouTube stuff because of everything that was going on, especially with my family and all that. And believe it or not, I'm getting updates. My mother was taken to the emergency room, and I'm actually talking to my sister, and my sister's there. And you know how hospitals are right now. They don't allow more than 2 people in there. So when my sister's ready to leave, she's going to call me, and I'm going to go there and sit with my mother. So I'm waiting right now. If you see me looking off like this, I'm waiting. So I'm waiting for her to say that she can't be there anymore, and she wants to go home and all that. So I'm going to leave, and I'm going to leave the live going, and hopefully it I don't know how this is going to work, but I know once my sister calls, I'm probably going to ask her to stay around just for a little while longer, because this live is not going to go until I think 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna ask her to stay a little longer and then I'll go by there and hang out with my mother for a little while. So pray for me, please, people, pray for me. And I'm lost. I'm lost right now because I'm too busy thinking about her, because I had planned to do this. I wanted to do a live, and when I found out he was going to do another town hall, I said, okay, that'd be perfect for me to do another live. And that's where I am right now. But after this, I'm gonna do my best to convince John to do his presentation. John has a cold presentation. Oh, they're going back live again, yeah. So let's go back to it, and I'll give you guys I hit back with you. All right.
All of that. This goes to the heart of Jim Jordan's investigation. Is the FBI politicized? Is the DOJ weaponized? James Comer's committee looking into whether or not the Biden family, in fact, we know that Joe lied when he said in a debate with you and said it to other press people when he said, I've never talked to my son about his foreign business dealings. We've got photographic evidence. We have dates and times of meetings. We now have, according to James Comer, routing plans to different LLCs, and money's going to 9 separate Biden family members. And they're looking for one particular document where $5 million was exchanged for an act that they claim that Joe Biden may have committed in exchange for this deal. Yet how come nothing happens to them?
Well, they're being protected, and it's a one-sided system. It's a very unfair system, but they're being protected. Look at the time that Biden said about the $1 billion to get rid of the prosecutor. Now, can you imagine if I said that? $1 billion to get rid of the prosecutor. You talk about tape, that's on tape. That's so illegal what he said. It's America's money. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you get rid of the prosecutor that was prosecuting his son and his son's company, even though his son didn't know anything about energy or anything else, and he's on the board of an energy company, getting paid a fortune, by the way. No, the whole thing is crazy what's going on, and it's so bad because it makes them look so bad. You know, we talk about borders, we talk about elections, but you can add our justice system. If it's corrupt, if the people think, if there's any perception of being corrupt, and when you look at all of this criminality, like the laptop has so much stuff on it, it's so bad, it's so evil, and yet they don't want to do anything. It even affected the impeachment, because impeachment hoax number 1 and 2, if they read the laptop and they had the laptop, should not have proceeded, because I was right, and it should not have proceeded. A lot of people said that. But there's a dual system of government. There's a dual system of, you talk about law and order. You can't have law and order in a country where you have such corruption. And the corruption is, and they fight so hard not to give the papers. With me, they make up papers. They fight so hard not to give a document. Now, how bad can this document be? And it's very dangerous. I think it's a third point, but it's very dangerous for our country.
Well, Comer said to me on radio today, he has the document. He said it on TV last night.
By the way, he's doing a great job, and Jim Jordan they're doing a fantastic job.
Let me ask you one question. I've asked you this question before, and it comes up a lot. People know that I've interviewed you all these years. I've known you almost 30 years. And people ask me and say to him, why does he have to fight so hard? Why doesn't he pick his fights a little more? Why does he have to call people names? And the only reason I think this is an important question is because I think everyone here tonight is likely voting for you, right? So, however, it's going to come down to those people that maybe are in the middle a little more. And the argument that they make to me is, if he would just tone it down a hair, stop a little of the name calling. Hang on. I said it's their question. Leave me alone. All right. That it might help you with swing voters that are needed for you to get over the finish line. It's already hard enough electoral vote-wise for a Republican to win. What do you say to them?
Okay, you ready? And I say this to everybody. I won an election. It was unprecedented. We beat somebody that supposedly had it made, and, you know, they probably did things in that election too. They were shocked. But I came into office, and from the day I got in, I was under siege by people that have been in Washington for many years, put in there by many different presidents. In most cases, people that were against me, like they spied on my campaign. They did all sorts of things. I was under investigation and under siege, and so were my people. And if I wasn't tough, I wouldn't be here right now. I guarantee you that. If I didn't fight back, I wouldn't be here. What they did is so bad, and they've been caught. Now, so far, nothing's happened to them of consequence. We had an Attorney General, Bill Barr, who didn't have the courage to fight. He just didn't have the courage. He was a nice man, but he didn't have the courage. He lost his courage when they wanted to impeach him. They said, we're going to impeach Bill Barr. They didn't even know why. There was no reason to impeach him. He didn't do anything wrong. But he didn't have the courage. We need courage in this country, or we're going to lose our country.
All right, I'll tell you what. You can stand up if you want, or sit down, whatever you prefer. Hi, sir. What's your name?
Mike Etheridge.
All right, Mike, is it?
Mike.
Hi, Mike. You have a question for President Trump.
I do.
By the way, I think I'm going to like this question. Look at that.
I'm going to say yes.
Thank you.
He's making money off your name, just so you know.
Okay, I'm going to.
Somebody is.
I'm not going to sue him.
My question is, from the time that you left office until now, and in fact, in my case, it happened very quickly. I am a veteran. I use the VA. I was getting in to see a doctor 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
From the time you left, and this is within a month, the next time was 8 months.
Yeah, I know. They let the system break. Are you talking about the VA?
I am.
So we had a 92% approval rating. Nobody's ever come close. I think the highest was 51, and it was many years ago. We had a 92% with the VA. And I did two things that were really, we had great people at the top. We had a lot of great people. You know, we talk about the bad ones, but we had a lot of great people, and they did a fantastic job. When you get a 92% rating, and I really appreciate that you say it, what happened with the VA is they had a lot of very bad people in the VA, sadists, very sick people that were really, they were beating up and hurting our people, and you couldn't do anything about it. And I got through Congress an act where we can fire those people. We got rid of 7,000 really bad people. But the other thing of equal importance, maybe more important, if you had to wait, like you said, you had my system, if you had to wait more than a day, as you know, you would go to a private hospital, or you would go to a private doctor, and they would take care of you. And people weren't dying. You know, people were dying waiting online. They were waiting for 6 months. They became terminally ill for something where a simple procedure or a simple prescription could have taken care of it. And if they had to wait for more than 24 hours, I gave them the right to go to a private doctor. We paid the bill. We negotiated with them. We had certain set prices because otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be good. And we had the highest rating. That's why the veterans love Trump. We did a great job. It's so nice that you said it. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, I understand. So what's your name?
My name's Tony, retired USAF Lieutenant Colonel, volunteer for a number of senior organizations,
Right.
To include AARP, full disclosure.
Great.
High inflation. We have a Medicare system that is severely lacking funding, running out of funding.
Right.
We have a trust fund in Social Security that's going broke.
Yeah.
Across Iowa, serious concerns for seniors. What's your envision? What can you do? How can we solve these problems and get them done?
So inflation is a killer of countries. If you look back 200 years, you could look back to empires where inflation came. The empires all dissolved. They were all gone. Inflation is it's a cancer to a country. We are going to stop inflation. We still have way high inflation, the highest in 52 years. And they're saying, oh, we're doing better because it's down to 5%. 5% is a lot. But we were heading up, and we could head up right now with what's going on. We could head up very, very much higher. But we're going to drill. We're going to bring energy way down. When energy comes down, other things are coming. That's what caused the inflation in the first place. We're going to bring energy down. We're going to then bring interest rates down, because interest rates, people can't buy homes. They can't borrow money. They can't do anything now. I mean, our economy, right now, our economy is a total mess. Again, I rebuilt our military. And when we get interest rates down, and when we do all of the things that we have to do, including, again, I rebuilt our military, but we have to rebuild it again. You know, our military has no ammunition. We have no ammunition. We've given much of it, almost all of it, but we've given much of it to Ukraine. And we want to help people, but I want to stop the war. I don't want that war to continue. And I'll stop that war, mark my words, I'll stop that war in 24 hours. But we're in a position.
Mr. President, let me ask. Serious question. How do you stop that war in 24 hours?
I know both. And frankly, Zelensky was very good because he was part of the phone call. And he said, he didn't say anything wrong to me, the Democrat. He could have gone and grandstand and said, well, I felt threatened. He didn't. I get along with him. I get along with Putin. It would have been much easier to stop it before it started. Putin would have never done this. Would have been much easier. Right now, it's a mess. Now they're hitting Kiev, and they're hitting all sorts of things that weren't supposed to be hit. The country is being decimated. By the way, the deaths are far more than their report. You know, when they say 9 apartment houses got knocked down and 2 people got hurt. No, hundreds of people died. The numbers are much different than what you're being told. I will get them into a room, and they will, and I know an exact way. Number one, you tell one, you're not going to get anything unless you make a deal. You tell the other one, they're going to get a lot unless you make a deal. And you just sit them and you put them in, and you have to make a determination. And within, I'm telling you, within 24 hours, that whole thing will be settled. It'll be settled.
No, that was huge.
And you need the power of the Oval Office. You do. You can't just walk in and say, oh, I'm going to settle the deal. You need the power of the presidency. It was a war that should have never, ever started. It's a horrible war. It's a vicious. I saw it today where missiles are going into cities. in this case, Kiev, and you see the school children going to school and missiles are following them. The whole thing is horrible. I will have that settled in 24 hours. People say, oh, you can't. It's just like when I hear the sanctimonians come and say, we need 8 years. Again, if he needs 8 years, don't vote for him. I'll have that. This country will be hopping in 6 months, and a lot of it's going to do with energy and energy costs. It'll be hopping in 6 months and less than 6 months, but it'll be back.
Thank you, Iowa, for being here.
What the hell just happened?
Wow.
Did they just cut
The end of the hour.
Thank you, buddy.
We all know Mark Wahlberg as an
Murdoch just hit the fucking ejection button because Trump was.
Caught that. I caught that
he
too.
didn't eject it.
Mark is
It's been an
passionate
hour.
about his
Oh no, dude! That was peace talk between Russia and Ukraine. There it was.
Yeah, it's also the end of the hour there too, but I think it was a combination of both. Did anybody catch the Michael Jackson look-alike in the audience?
No.
Murdoch.
Wow. Scott, I just sent
and
you
he
a
was
photo
right
of it
when
to
he
your,
said that.
To you and Tom on
Fox hit the
text.
eject button.
Hey, Sean,
it
isn't
was
that odd
supposed
that
to
you
go
sadist?
until like 9:30.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's actually
I definitely heard that.
8:57. It's supposed to go 9:30, 10
We
o'clock.
can all relate to
But
that.
because of the fact,
Sadist
hold on,
weird.
I'm trying to.
That is Michael Jackson.
Trying to
Homie, I'm
exit
telling
out
you,
of
dude.
this.
Dude, what the fuck, man? What is this?
Hold on.
I'm telling you.
Is he creeping, bro?
I'm trying. Yeah. Okay. Because of that, Murdoch hit the eject button. They stopped just like they did on the last town hall because they cut it short. Let me see. Let me give me some light because, yeah, there. That's a good one. Let me get the other one. I moved everything around. I don't know if you noticed the last time I was live. I actually have a different location. I moved back to my office because my cousin no longer lives with me. So I moved everything back into my original office. And I had to reset things up. So and I have one on this side. Bear with me to turn these lights on. And there I am. Okay. And yeah, it's hold on, let me turn this back on because
what's stopping Putin from taking?
I asked him a question.
Now currently
and I
launching
wanted
missiles
to hear
right
him
into
answer
command.
the question. So
Where else do you guys think this is going to go?
Nacifying.
Right. And what happens?
okay, yeah, that should work. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. If you can hear me speak, please give me a thumbs up.
They don't exactly have predator drones, but they do.
Now there's a delay, so bear with me, okay?
If he takes Zelensky out, that is going to trigger
That's
the
an
next
escalation.
kinetic war by proxy.
Well,
yeah.
let me also add this. Ukraine was stupid enough to send.
Okay, I got a thumbs up. Okay, all right, just bear with me. I plan on doing more lives. Everyone knows that I don't want to charge for anything because God's blessing should not be financed, and that's one thing I do not want to do. Now, if you want to donate, that's fine because I would actually give you the money back because that's the way I am. I don't want to keep anything. I'll go broke blessing everyone else before I take anything because I am a devout believer in blessings that God has given me. Yeah, I'm barely making it over here where I am because of back issues and all of that, and just know that I'm making it, and I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't through God. So everyone, just bear with me. I am going to go live again. Trust me, I am. But I had to get this system back up and running because it was shut down. I was shadow banned big time. When I say big time, my God, I was shadow banned so hard. And so please bear with me. Just know that I'm here and I'm still doing it. I still record. I have so much recording that I still can't even get organized because all my videos are all my videos and everything like that. I just need to organize everything, and I will do that. But just bear with me. I'm still here, and I won't leave you guys out. Now, one thing that me and John we're working on, and bear with us because there's one thing we're working on. We're working on trying to get this bond stuff narrowed down. There are some steps now that I'm not going to say anything about right now that we're going to have to take. Now, if you followed me from the very beginning, the bond stuff that we were doing, the reason why no one could advance was because they were doing away with that old system. Me and John, we're working on something right now to narrow it down to where it could be steps, a few steps. Now, when we feel comfortable in putting it out there, we will put it out there. But just know, until we feel comfortable about doing it, we won't put it out there. And we should get this thing narrowed down to between 6 months to a year. Now, the process in order to get your money is going to take that long. And please bear with me, it will take that long. But if you want the money that's owed to you, you'll stay in this fight. Just bear with us because we are narrowing it down. Trust me, we are still working here behind the scenes, especially John. John is almost finished doing the things that he needs to do. Pray for him. He'll pray for you. I know John, he may still be in the chat. I'm not quite sure if he's still in the chat or not. If he is, give him a shout out. It's Jon John. If you see him, go back in there and look. You see John Music. Hey, and let me let y'all know something. John is a musician. He's cold as hell. This is what look. If you hear this guy's music, trust me, the guy is cold. He cold as hell when it comes to music. Okay, that's just me on the side talking. Anyway, just know that we are still here. Okay, and I really wanted to go live with this because I wanted to wait until he do another live. Now, my next show, I don't have a designated date that I want to do a live, but it won't be long. It'll be next week. It'll be one of the days next week, maybe Monday or maybe Wednesday, one of the 2 days. Because I'm still driving. I drive for a rideshare company, and it's been wearing me out. It's killing my back. But I've been, everyone knows me. They know that I'm committed when I do stuff, and it's not weighing on me really good. So I'm gonna have to give that up, and I'm gonna go back to doing my YouTube channels, and I'm gonna have to try and find another way to generate income in this. Other than that, I have a disability that I'm working on, especially with military, because I hurt my back in the military. I'm not sure if you can see right here. See that Army right there? Yeah, I'm Army. So yeah, I'm not Marines, but I'm Army. But this one right here, let me go right here. That's police, and I am a 25-year retired police officer. So I want y'all to pray for me and pray for John, and we are pushing some other things that we want to do to help the community, help people who just help people, because that is what we're here for. So just know that me and John will be back, and whenever I can have John on, I'm gonna have him on with my lives. I want to start everything back next week. This on YouTube will probably get erased. So I'm gonna let it hang for a little while, but I'll probably erase it tonight off of YouTube. Now I'll probably erase it tonight, and then I'll post it on Rumble. I do have a Black Pill Red on Rumble, but I don't go live on Rumble yet because I hadn't paid for it yet. So I will probably switch over to Rumble. Just know that after this video is cut, I'm going to let it ride until 10 o'clock tonight, and then I'm going to go ahead and erase it off of YouTube. And then I'll switch everything over to Rumble. Okay. But other than that, yeah, see, there you go, John. I know you see it, John. Here you go. Oh, I've had that one up for a while. I should have actually changed all of it. So, John, you there, and you're very appreciated. My brother from another mother. He lives in Cali. I'm in Texas. So,
Trump was very professional talking about Joe.
All right, let me go through.
He has some beef with DeSantis.
Let me go through and send some of the things here. But you know what? Let me go ahead and put some music to it. Hold on, just a sec. Let me go ahead and put some
Don't fuck with it.
Music
DeSantis
to
was
it.
nothing
There it
until he got his
is. All
endorsement.
right.
Nothing.
Let me put some music to it on my way out. Okay. I have a lot of people saying blessings, and I appreciate it. Now, the one thing about it is, let me quiet the music when I say this. The only way blessings work is you have to be willing to bless someone in order to receive blessings. Now, I'm willing to bless. Now, I'm not saying that just in words, because when you bless someone, you have to bless someone from the heart. When you bless someone, their blessings will be achieved. Now, there's a chance that you won't get your blessings because your heart is not right. But you have to bless people. Bless, because I'm willing to bless as many people as I can. I don't care who it is. Good, bad. If they hate me, I don't care. I love you just the same. Now, you know what? Let me stop this real quick, because one of the things that's hitting me right now, and how Chick-fil-A just switched over to support the gay and lesbian community, because you got, June 1st, June, the month of June is for gay, lesbian, LGBT, alphabet gang. I'm just going to say alphabet gang. And let me pause this right now, because hold on just a sec. All right. I had to quiet that, because when you have soldiers that are dying for freedom and they only get one day, then you got the gay. I don't have anything against a gay and lesbian community. Trust me, I don't, because God tells me that I don't have to like their ways. I don't have to appreciate their ways. I don't have to accept their ways. But the person I love, I can love anybody who's gay. Trust me, I have friends. I know people, some of my good friends. I know a couple of guys that was in the military that was like that. And we were all good friends, but they all knew that Joe didn't swing that way. But I love them just the same. But in this situation, gay, lesbian community, they get upset, get violent when you say, I don't support that. Now, when people start speaking against Target, they got violent against Target. We didn't. We just said we're not spending our money that way. But that community said, oh no, if you don't support us, we will blow you up. So they have so many bomb threats and all this other stuff against their locations. And it wasn't from us. It was from that community. I don't have a problem with who you love. You can go outside and marry a tree. I don't care. But here's the problem. When you start trying to infect my family because of your beliefs, now we got a problem. And you can't do that, because I won't infect your family with my beliefs. I won't do that. And it's not fair to anybody in the community. It's not fair to anybody around you. Other than that, I don't want to get into that. I have a whole bunch more. Look, it's people out there that agree with me. I know y'all agree with me, and look, salute the military. Yes, salute the military, because it's so many. Look, it's so many soldiers like myself that's suffering from PTSD, and yes, I was in the Desert Shield, Desert Storm war, and all of that. That 90, 91. Some of you probably weren't even born at that time. If not, you were probably in diapers. But there are a lot of us that don't agree with war. There are more stuff that I want to bring out. If you see, I have 15,000 videos that I downloaded. That's not images. That's just 15,000 videos that I downloaded. And it's good Lord. You if you understood what I was doing, yeah. And yeah, it's like, I don't have anything against anybody that's gay. Trust me, I don't. I love you just the same. And look, let me ask you a question. Anybody look, raise your hand. If anybody that's hung around with a gay person, tell me it ain't fun. It's fun because they're funny. They enjoy their life at a party and all that. I don't love your ways. I don't agree with your ways. anything that your ways is against biblical prefaces. God will tell you, no, I don't like that. That's not what I'm about. But I love the person itself because you're a human being. Number two, you ask any gay person out there, they want to say, oh, God don't make mistakes. Okay, yeah, you're right. God don't make mistakes. If that's the case, that God don't make mistakes, I guarantee you, you knew you were a girl or a boy before you knew you were gay. If you knew that, you knew that God don't make mistakes. You choose to be gay. You get what I'm saying? There's a choice there. You choose to be gay. You knew that you were a boy or a girl beforehand, but you feel like, oh, I want to be gay. And then they're going to come back and say, God don't make mistakes. That don't make sense, does it? It don't make sense. It really don't make sense because they're, what's the word I'm looking for? You're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting. You say God don't make mistakes, and yet you knew you were a little boy or a girl, but you want to be a little boy or a little girl. Anyway, that's just conversation. That's something that, me, I am. And maybe I'm wrong. Somebody tell me, am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And I know that God don't make mistakes, and you have to accept the decision God made. But all right. Okay, let me turn the music back on. Okay, I can go back to it. Yeah, I got off tangent. So, and I didn't even hear him if he answered my question or not.
And then you fucking crush them, and then you move on to the
actually
the general, and that's where it's gonna go.
Where I
don't think
was,
he has to do much yet, but once he's there,
hold
on, Orange Man.
Where I was piggybacking on was woke societies, and he's on pill.net, and he was also on Rumble, and it's woke societies. This guy, I've been following him since 2019. And yeah, his language is not the best, but if you follow me and follow Amina, I'm seeing, yeah, because these are the Band-Aid rippers. All right, they gonna tell you how it is straight up. They're gonna tell you, they're not gonna sugarcoat it. They're gonna tell you the truth. And what I say around here is they're gonna tell you the truth is, Rufus. All right, and these are the real people who are going to do it. It's other people that I follow. Language is good. Language is bad. It's some people. It's one guy that I follow. He's spiritual, and that's and we know it's what it is. And we know he's on Rumble. You follow him. He's actually a very good spiritual guy that puts it out. Very good introduction, and he breaks it down really good. You follow him if you get in the links or something like that, and text him, let him know that you follow that I sent you over there. And we know, that's the name of it. And we know is actually a phrase from the Bible. Okay, it's and I think it's in Romans. If you type it in under Romans, I think it's in Romans that he puts it in there. But I listen to everyone, and if you follow me on Instagram and you send me messages and I don't respond to you, it's not my fault. Trust me, it's not. Every time I try to get on there and follow people and let people know that I'm following them and send messages, it won't allow me to do it. So I can't even share stuff on my page. So if you send me a message and you click the little paper airplane and you click share to your page, I can't even do that anymore. All right. So they got me on lock to the point to where I think I got like 3 or 4 pairs of handcuffs on. And so it's not me. So just know that it's not me trying to do it. I can only approve. Now I'm down to 10 people per day. 10 people per week now. I've been trying to accept people who that put in requests, and it only allows me to accept 10 people. So yeah, just bear with me. I'm still trying to accept as many as I can. Trust me. I try to respond as much as I can. but it is not allowing me to do it. Okay. So I want you guys to look, just stay blessed. And I want you to stay prayed up, stay blessed. Hey, before I get off, I want everybody to say what's up to John. I know some people did say hey to John, but John, that's my boy. That's my brother from another mother. We clash, but we actually, before we end our conversations, we love each other even more than we did before we started our conversation. And I want everybody to say say hi to John before I hang up. Let me see, it's 9:16. I say 9:20. For 4 minutes. I want everybody to give John some shout outs. I want him to get as many as he can, because I think sometimes he gets a little discouraged on if people actually hears and uses his information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up something with John. I want him to do his presentation here on our channel too. And if you hear his presentation, you're going to take notes. Trust me, you're going to take notes. So if you get a chance, keep following, and John is going to do the presentation on the show, and I want everyone to take notes, because he's going to break it down to you on what's going on. And then for those of you who are new to this channel and don't know anything about John, you're going to see how you're going to be blessed and how the government has been screwing over us for our lifetime and previous lifetime. I mean, at least for the past, what is it, 1965? I think it was, John, 1965. And when they started setting bonds on our birth certificate and our social security numbers. Yes, you are probably worth almost $500 million. Yeah. Tune into the next video and you'll find out why and how. Okay. So just know that these people are dirty. The government is dirty. The government is shady. They're going to distract you with race. They're going to distract you with religion. All right. And one thing about religion is I don't believe in religion. I believe in spirituality. There's nothing about religion that's going to make me stay there. Religion is a way to separate us. Spirituality is where you want to be. Your relationship with God, I can't affect your relationship with God. You can't affect my relationship with God. Me and God, we're on a different conversation. I can't tell you how to talk to him. I can't tell you how I talk to him or how I speak to him. That's only between you and God. And if you accept the system way of doing it, then you're going to keep doing it that way. God is my friend. God is my father. God is my mother. God is my brother. God is my friend. I can just wake up and say, God, you know what's up? I don't really feel like doing it today. Give me a sign to let me know if I should do it or not. I would ask God that question and I will get those signs. I will get the answer to it too. All because I have a relationship. There is a relationship with God that I have. You have your own relationship with God. And you have to understand that. And people don't get that. I'm like, dude, you have a relationship with God. There is no religion there. There's spirituality. And you have your own relationship. I can't tell you how to talk to God. I can't tell you what to ask for God. But you have to do that on your own. And that's how I do it. And that's what John does. We both do the same thing. We're not going to tell you how to talk to God. That's you. That's your own relationship with him. And the way you talk to him, I guarantee you, if you ask for clarity, I guarantee you'll see your answers. I mean, almost instantly. Say, God, can you give me clarity on what I'm asking? I just need clarity on my answers. Please help me see the answers that you're giving me, because what I'm asking for. And I guarantee you'll see the answers. You'll see the answers. But you have to be willing to ask for them. And once you ask for them, your mind and soul have to be open for the answer. And I mean, it may be on a billboard sign. It may be in a commercial. It may be in just a child saying something to you. It may be just a friend calling you up and say, hey, I just thought I'd call you and tell you this. You have to listen. That's the one thing you have to do. Pay attention and listen. Listen to everything. Anybody come to you, listen to it, evaluate it, because I guarantee you, any question you ask is going to be answered. But you have to ask God, is this my answer? Give me clarity. Give me reasoning. Give me, God, I'm praying. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Let me know. Give me clarity to hear the answer. And then close the book and walk away. And I guarantee you, before that day is over, you'll get your answer. But you gotta listen. You have to pay attention to it. Yes, stay open-minded. Hold on, let me put that up there. You have to stay open-minded because it's there. The answer will be there. The answer will be there, but you have to pay attention to it because he's going to put it out there. All right. So other than that, until my next. Okay, you may hear some talk in the background. I still have the live on. That's one of the shows I follow. If you're not listening to X22, you're missing out. X22report.com or on Rumble, X22. Also, listen to Woke Societies on Rumble. He's on Rumble and Pilled.net. That's PILLED.net. One of the guys I follow, I like. One of the reasons why I follow him because he's a family man. Yeah, his language is all that. I'm not even paying attention to language. He has 2 boys, and his wife is pregnant with a daughter, and he's there because he know God's put him there. He know he's supposed to be there, and you have to listen to what's there. That's the power of discernment. You have to listen to what he does. And when I say educational, oh my God, this guy right here is putting information out that you need to hear. Along with X22, Dave is cold. Dave is the GOAT, and John will probably if he's still on. I don't even know if John is still on. If he's not, I'm going to tell him to go back and look at the video because he probably logged off. I don't see his name on here. I don't see his name on here, but I'm gonna tell him to go back and look at it. And trust me, when the next video we're gonna actually do it live, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna thank everyone for being on here. Just like everyone, and like I tell everyone, I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for chats. I don't ask for none of that because this is God's word. Now, if you want to donate, that's fine. If you want to chat, that's fine. If you want to do any I don't even know what it's called. To be honest with you, if you want to do that, that's fine because I'm going to end up giving it back to you anyway. Because I'll hold contests, give away free stuff because I still have my Teesprings account, and other than that, I don't have anything going on right now. But like I said, any donations I give back to you. That's my goal because this blessing that I'm giving to you is something that's given to me, and I have to give it to you, and I can't charge you for it. I don't want to charge you for it. So everything that I have here now, I want to show you my setup. I got through blessings and no, I don't want to disconnect it. The next time we come on, I'll show you guys what I have here. Between this mic and my board and my 2 screens right here. A lot of the stuff I have is through blessings that I got. So what is this? Hey, Uncle Joe, who is this? Hey. Hold up, who is this right here? Hold on a second. A dollar bill. Oh, hold on. I hope this is not my cousin Bill. We'll see. Anyway, other than that, I'm gonna tell John to jump back on because I don't see his name on here because he probably had to jump off. And I don't see anything else on here. I have a couple of shows that I'm gonna work on as soon as I hang up. How many of y'all think that Barack Obama was an ideal president? I'm going to wait on that one. How many of y'all think that Barack Obama was an ideal president? I'm going to wait on that one.
That's creepy.
I said I was going to wait a few minutes and let John, but I end up running my mouth. So hold up. That's if I wasn't cut. Yeah, people saying I never thought he was. Now, would y'all be upset if I told you that he sold out the country?
Let's just keep this level where we're at. Let everybody else kind of.
Now, it's one thing about it is you can't tell a black person that Barack Obama was a sellout. I mean, look at his Secret Service name. His Secret Service name was, you know what? I'm not even going to say it. Y'all look it up. I want you to do your homework. What was his Secret Service name? Let me see if somebody say it. What was his Secret Service name?
All right, brother. Thank you so much, man. We'll be back on Saturday. Yeah, we'll be back Saturday.
I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds. What was his Secret Service name? And then once someone name it, there you go. Somebody said it was Renegade. Hold on. Where's Honeybee? Honeybee said it first. Hold on. Where is it? Where is Honeybee? There it is. Okay. Now look up Renegade and tell me what the definition is.
And I'm gonna get that out there right now. Scratch offs are released. And guys, please, if you're gonna go anywhere, please go check out.
I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna wait and let y'all know. Let y'all get it.
To be doing a great show. They've been pulling a great late night show, and love seeing them build up their audience over on Pilt. So go check them out. And I think that is finally at some point released in my browser.
Yep.
Stops.
Everybody's getting it. Renegade.
Come on. There we go. It's out. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, shut this down.
Hold on. Now I'm getting ready to give you the definition of renegade.
I had like 60 tabs open, and my computer was like, "Yo, you need to chill."
This is the definition of a renegade.
Much GPU, CPU. Too much.
Why would he choose that name for his Secret Service name? Just look at it. This is the definition. This is the definition right here. One who rejects religion, cause, allegiance, or a group, or another, a deserter, an outlaw.
Shows on these things for a long time, and we're getting a ton of subscribers on locals.
This is what he chose. He chose what's going on now. He chose this. This is the name he chose. And then it's in plain sight. And people just never actually question the fact, yeah, it sounds cool. Renegade. Yeah, that sounds really cool. But the name Renegade basically says he's against everything that this country goes for. But we're going to get into that later. That's one of the shows that I want to put out, that this guy is against everything that the country stands for. Hold on. You know what? Let me try something real quick. I want to try something. I want to try something just to see if it works. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. This. I have a second camera in here, y'all. So yeah. I just wanted to see if the second camera worked. I just never. I actually didn't put it up to see if it worked or not. And when I was talking earlier, I was talking to the camera, thinking that I had this camera on, but it's not on. But it's on now, and I wanted to check and see if it worked. So, all right. I want everyone to stay blessed, stay aware of what's going on. Oh, here's some homework for the next time we talk. Okay. I want everyone to look up BRICS Nation. BRICS. BRICS Nation. And do as much research on it as you can, because that's influential of what's coming up in the future. All right. Look up BRICS, BRICS Nation. All right. I want everybody to talk. I'll talk to you later. Y'all take it easy. All right. Y'all stay blessed. All right.